Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we continue looking at energetics of reactions. Now, we are going to describe the endothermic and exothermic reactions in terms of bonds. So at first we defined endo and exothermic in terms of heat, and in terms of heat we said endothermic involves absorption of heat, and exothermic involves the release of heat, as we are aware that anything to do with thermal deals with heat. So in an endothermic reaction, heat is absorbed, then in an exothermic reaction, heat is released. And we have common examples such as photosynthesis here. And another common example here is the process of combustion. Now, we want us to understand exothermic and endothermic reaction in terms of bonds. What are they? So, endothermic and exothermic in terms of bonds. Endothermic is known as bond breaking, and we're going to go in depth and understand what this means. Then exothermic means bond formation. Now, if we're looking at a general reaction, let's look at a general reaction of A reacting with B, giving us AB. So if we were to expand on this, what we mean is the reactant side of a reaction experiences the process of endothermic, and the product side of the reaction experiences the process of exothermic. What does this mean? So if we look at this visually, we have A bonded to A and we have B bonded to B. That is what is happening on the reactant side. And what we mean is, for us to have a new product, it means that we have to break the bonds. So we have to break the bonds. So when we break these bonds, it means that the A and the A and the B and the B are free. And we have what we call free radicals, but it's not necessary at this point. So they are in their transition state to form a new product, meaning once we break those bonds, then they have to reform or reunite at a particular point. So the other side is that we have AB, which is looking at bond formation. So A and A will break the bond, B and B will break the bond, then they will reunite. The A will combine with the B and the B combines with the A, and then we have a new bond which is AB. If we were to balance this reaction, we'll have a 2 there, meaning we have A bonded to B. In terms of properties, we'll realize that the properties of A and B are not the same as the properties of A, B. So this is a new product. So we can understand exothermic and endothermic in terms of bonds. So endothermic means bond breaking. Exothermic means bond formation. Let's look at a typical example. A typical example is that of the formation of water. So we have H2 reacting with O2 to give us H2O. If we look at this visually in terms of bonds, it's H bonded to H, then O bonded to O. That is what is happening on the reactant side. So this basically means that we have to break those bonds, and then we have the loose HH and the loose OO, which at some point will have to reform. And when we look at the new product, this will appear like this. So there's a new bond that is formed. So here it was H bond in terms of the bonds that existed, then O double bond. But on the other side, it's H and oxygen, or oxygen hydrogen bond, which is completely a new bond. So endothermic means that it requires heat to be absorbed. So when the reaction is endothermic in nature, it means that we need a good quantity of energy to have these bonds broken. So heat is absorbed, and the reason why that heat is being absorbed is to break the bonds. Then what is happening on the other side is that heat is released. The heat is released because a new product is formed. So we can understand exothermic and endothermic in summary. In summary, what we mean is endothermic and exothermic can be understood in terms of bonds, can be understood in terms of energy, can be understood in terms of enthalpy change. So in terms of bond, we are saying endothermic involves bond breaking. So we break the bonds. In terms of energy, we are saying it's the absorption. Heat is absorbed. That is in terms of heat energy. Then enthalpy change, we are saying we have a positive enthalpy change. Then on the other side, which is exothermic, we are looking at it as bond formation. Then in terms of heat energy, we are looking at the release of heat. In terms of enthalpy change, we are saying we have a negative enthalpy change. See you in the next video as we discuss about bond energies. Thanks for watching.